what if we wanted our terms to, when I click this, I want it to pop up from the bottom here. And then when I click this, I want it to go out to the left. Let's see if we can do that. So let's go back in here first to our login activity. And we know if we're going to do anything besides the default animation, we got to add in the override pending transition. Okay, and so it's going to be, the first thing we're going to do is going to talk about the new activity. Okay, so the new activity, we want to slide in from the bottom. So let's say r.anim. And I know just from doing this that it's this ABC thing, and if I didn't, here it is, ABC. I don't want fade out. Aha, I want slide in, not top, slide in bottom. Okay, comma, and now I need an animation. Well, what's the one that was there before going to do? Well, let's just have it slide out in the top. r.anim. Okay, ABC slide out top. Okay, so before we do that, let's just see if we can get lucky and get these both to work. I usually like running it after making any change, but let's see if we can get lucky here. So terms, so finish, okay, if I want to get rid of the animation or change it, I have to do override pending transition. And remember, I'm not typing super fast. It's pulling up the autocomplete and I'm selecting it. Now you want to make sure it's the right thing before you select it, but it's a pretty neat feature. So again, this time I want it to slide the other way. So let's see here. Actually, for this one, let's just have it do a fade. Okay, so r.anim, oops. But I remember the fade is in this special group android.r.anim. And this is the new one, is going to fade in. And the old one is going to fade out. So that's android.r.anim.fade out. All right, let's go ahead and run this and see if our custom animations. Okay, so terms, there we go, this comes in, and this one should fade out. Nice. I like that. Okay, now let's finish our login screens. So if I go here to drawable, right, those are all the assets, all the images we imported. And notice I have 1 login, 2 login, 3 login, 4. I already have this one, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and make 3 more activities and set them up. So where do you make activities from? New ones? You go to main, right click, new activity, blank activity. Now this one, I'll go back here for just 1 second. How can I make this descriptive of what it is when I name it? Well, there's a thing in mobile apps called focused. So when this text screen is clicked on and the keyboard comes up to type in that, that means it's focused. It's focused in this text field, okay? So since that's login number 2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say new activity, blank activity, and I'm going to call this focused. Let's call this login focused activity. Finish. All right, let's go ahead and make another one here. So let's look at login number 3. That's the next one we're doing. How can we describe this? Well, it's focused, but now we have input in the email. So I'm just going to go call this activity. We'll call this login email activity. Okay, and as you can see, as I add them in the layout, they're being added over here, and we're also getting new Java files up here. So we got one more. Let's see what this one is. All right, this one is where the password's filled out. I'm going to call this one login password. New activity, blank activity, login password, and finish. Okay, good. Now let's set these up here. So I'm going to close the drawable just so it's not messing me up here. Okay, so let's start in with the login focused, okay? And let's click on the text. So remember, login focused. I've got to change this to absolute layout, okay? And I'm gonna get rid of all the padding here. All right, good. Now let's go to the next one we added, which was login email. Same thing. Absolute layout. Get rid of all the padding. Okay, now let's go to password. Absolute layout. Get rid of all the padding. Okay. So now, if I also go to login focused, let's go to the design tab now here at the bottom. And we're going to add our image views and then our pictures. All right, so hello world. We're gonna get rid of that. We don't need that. Okay, so let's go and get an image view over here. It's in the widgets image view from our palette. Remember, I could drag it to here, but I'm actually just gonna drag it straight in there. It's gonna automatically put it at the origin. I'm gonna go down here, src, which is the source. Oops, didn't quite get that. Source, okay, we're gonna go down here. That was login screen number 2. Okay, awesome. And let's go to login email. Okay, design. We're gonna add an image view. Source. And this is login 3. Okay, let's do the same thing to password, design, image view from widgets. Right there to the absolute layout. Go down here to the source. And this is login 4. Okay, cool. So now we have all our image views added. Let's add some clickable hotspots, right? So now we need to drag some buttons on. Okay, so now let's go back to our original one. Let's go to the design, right? This is the first login where we have the terms. So to me, how it would happen in a real app was you would click on email and that would bring the keyboard. So let's make our button, to me it makes sense to put our button right here. Okay, let's resize that. Okay, we can delete the text if we want. Alpha over here, 0. Okay, and now we need to make it functional. In order to make it functional, we need to add our on click. So I'm going to say on focus. Right? Because this is going to take us to our focused activity. On focus, tab to lock it in, double check it, on focus, go up here, shortcut to our Java. Let's go ahead and add our code in the middle here. So public void on focus, right? We're going to put our view v thing here and our curly braces. Awesome. Now we're going to set up our intent here. So intent I equals new intent. So we're setting up a new intent. And where is this intent taking us from and where is it going to? Well, where it's taking us from is where we are right here, right? We're on the login activity. So login activity dot this, comma, and where we're going to? Where we're going to the login focused activity. Login, let's see here, login focused activity. There we go, and this is dot class. Don't forget to put the semicolon at the end. Now, to make this intent happen, we have to actually write start activity I. Okay, so let's just make sure this works, and we're going to run this app. Okay, so when I click here, Make sure, so our terms of service still works. Okay, that's good. What about when I click here? Okay, good. It's going to take us to email. All right, now let's go ahead and hook up the rest of them. All right, so let's go to our login focused activity, the layout version, so we can drag a button in. Okay, get a little more space by clicking this over there. All right. Now, to me, it makes sense that you would be clicking on the keyboard. Since this is just a fake keyboard, we'll just kind of drag a button over the general keyboard area. Alpha 0. On click, we'll say on email. Now you can call this whatever you want. I'm just calling it because it makes sense to me. We're typing in our email, so I'm going to say on email, tab, lock it in, text, there it is, shortcut to Java. In the middle here, public void on email v. Okay, great. Now we're going to set up an intent. It's going to be a type intent. We're going to call it I. We're going to say this is a new intent. Okay, and where are we starting from? Well, we're starting from now login focused activity dot this is what that is. And where are we going? Well, we're going to the login email activity. Login email activity, and that's going to be dot class, and we got to have our semicolon, and of course we have to start the activity. What activity? Activity I, right? And let's click on these and let's just go option return. That's going to fix that. Option return, and that's going to fix that. Okay, so now we are at our email activity. Okay, let's go to the email layout, and what I'm going to do is we're going to add a button here. Okay, just like we did again on the keyboard, because now you're typing in your password. Okay, alpha to 0. On click, since we're typing in password, on password. Okay, tab, lock it in. Text, check it, yep, on click, on password, good. I'm going to click this to take me to the Java file. In the middle, I'm going to say public void on password view v curly braces. All right, we're going to have an intent. I'm going to call it I. It's going to be a new intent. And now I'm going to tell it where to go. I'm going to say, well, first, where am I at? Well, I'm at the login email activity. Login email activity dot this. And I'm going to the login password activity. So last one here of the logins. Login password activity dot class. All right, put my little semicolon there, and I want to start the activity. What activity? I, right? That's the activity that we started here. So it's red. I'm going to hit option return. That's going to fix that. Option return, and that is going to fix that. Okay, so now we've hooked up everything that we should be able to go through all the login screens. Let's try it. Okay, so I'm going to hit email. It's going to take me to the focus screen. I'm going to click on the keyboard. That's going to take me to here. Okay, and click the keyboard again to type in my password. Great. Now one thing, notice how it's animating and kind of flipping upside down, or flipping back and forth, coming from the bottom. That's not making it look very convincing to me that it's just being typed in. So what I think we need to do here is actually disable the animation for those, which is not hard. So let's go to login activity. start activity. Remember how we disabled the animation? I'm in the Java file. We're going to go override pinning transition and just 0, 0. And since we're going to do this for all of them, I'm actually going to copy and paste. Now, copy and paste can be very helpful. It can also be very dangerous. So I think it's very good to write everything out when you can, especially at these early stages, just to practice, okay? But here to save a little time, I'm going to copy and paste. So, all right, then we go to our login focused activity. Again, below the start activity, we're going to override pinning transition with the 0, 0. Then we're going to go to the login email, override pinning transition.